Welcome to another installment of Deconstructing Babylon, where we discern the signs and symbols of the mystery religion of Hollywood Babylon. I'm the Discerning Clerk, and I use a biblical framework to deconstruct my favorite movies and your recommendations. We find ourselves again today with another viewer suggestion, and thank you for commenting Donnie Darko. The other recommendation seen here, Requiem for a Dream, is a dark film, and while I don't shy away from films that are rated R, there are just some things you can't unsee. Additionally, others have suggested Dark City, City Hall, and Angels in the Outfield, all of which I have not forgotten and will continue to look for the physical DVDs. I haven't brought it up in a long time, but I will always encourage having a collection of physical media, and don't rely on streaming services or digital downloads to always have your favorite movies available. Thrift stores everywhere abound with DVDs, CDs, even some VHS and vinyl, if you prefer more analog. You don't have to spend a lot of money to ensure you have movies and albums that you like available when you want. The last movie I broke down, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, featured a rabbit who only wanted to make people laugh. But today's deconstruction features a rabbit of a very different kind, much more sinister, yet just as imaginary. Donnie Darko was released in 2001 and almost became an instant cult classic. It features a talented cast, but does not appear in the video movie guide due to the release date. So, let's watch the film's official trailer.
I met a new friend.
Real or imaginary?
28 days,
Imaginary.
6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. Do you believe in time travel?
I'm going to tell you a little story today about a young man whose life was completely destroyed by fear.
Wake up.
You want to tell Mom and Dad why you stopped taking your medication?
I've been watching you. Do you believe in time travel? Wake up, Donnie.
Maybe by the end of this, I'll have learned the symbolic meaning of the rabbit, but for now, let's just see what they show us in Donnie Darko. The movie opens in an isolated wilderness, an empty road, save for a person lying in the middle, as the sun comes up in the distance. This is our title character, Donnie Darko, who seems confused about where he's waking up. He rides down the hill in his pajamas into the town where he lives called Middlesex. It's October, coming up on Halloween, and the town is coming awake, including the Darko family. That night, the family eat dinner together. Pizza, as it so happens. And they talk about politics and future plans with Donnie's older sister, Elizabeth.
Whoa, Elizabeth. Little hostile there.
Donnie is combative with his family, and we learn he's in therapy for some behavioral issues. His mom, Rose, confronts him about where he goes at night and what he does. There's some symbolism in his room that caught my eye, but they give us some mirror symbolism right away as Donnie takes some medication. Now they tell us the time we're in, October 2nd, 1988. As I've mentioned before, 88 is a symbol used to refer to the sun and moon in their courses, a symbol of duality, and also time travel. Donnie gets out of bed in the middle of the night and sleepwalks through the house, following a voice outside. He sees, and we see, someone wearing a rabbit suit, and he speaks to Donnie.
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. That is when the world will end.
Donnie wakes up the next morning on the golf course, and he comes home to police setting up a perimeter around his house. and the neighbors wondering what happened. It turns out a plane's jet engine fell on the Darko house, directly onto Donnie's bedroom, and would have most definitely crushed him if he had been in his bed.
They don't know where it came from.
The next day, Donnie is like a local celebrity at school and with his friends. He attends a private school, whose mascot is a bulldog. We meet the school's English teacher, Karen Pomeroy, and as a side note, this film was made in connection with Drew Barrymore's production company, Flower Films. And even though the actress appears as top billing on the cover, she's not listed as top cast on IMDb. So I can't tell if it's like a Scream situation or false humility on her part.
Quiet! Better choose.
We also meet new student Gretchen Ross, who seems to make an instant connection with Donnie. When Donnie meets with his therapist, he tells her about his imaginary rabbit friend, named Frank.
Then he said that the world was coming to an end.
Donnie dreams about water, and then the next day, school is canceled because of a water main break, and the whole school is flooded. The bulldog mascot also appears with an axe in its head, along with a message.
School's canceled.
Do you want to walk me home?
Donnie and Gretchen get to know each other on their walk as they both share some very personal information.
He has emotional problems.
Oh, I have those too. What kind of emotional problems does your dad have?
He stabbed my mom 4 times in the chest.
We learn that Donnie sees a therapist and takes medication because he burned down an abandoned house. Once the students return to school, the police begin an investigation into who flooded the school and vandalized the mascot.
Don't worry. You got away with it.
We get more mirror symbolism as Donnie takes his medication, while his parents attend an emergency PTA meeting. Then, in his bathroom, Donnie has a more lucid encounter with Frank, and he questions the sinister rabbit.
Where did you come from?
Do you believe in time travel?
Donnie speaks to his science teacher about time travel, and the teacher, Mr. Monatoff, talks about wormholes, black holes, and the work of Stephen Hawking. They even reference Back to the Future.
Like a DeLorean.
Mr. Monatoff then gives Donnie a book written by a previous science teacher at the school, a woman named Roberta Sparrow. This woman has been seen a few times before, a shell of a woman who paces back and forth to her mailbox, a woman who earned the moniker Grandma Death.
That's a terrible nickname.
Amid all this chaos and confusion in Donnie's mind, there is an underlying conversation of fear versus love, a premise taught by local self-help guru Jim Cunningham. A lot of the townspeople are taken in by him and his teaching.
Rose, you have got to meet this Jim Cunningham. I can't believe he's single.
Time marches on, closer to the alleged end of the world. Donnie tries to progress his relationship with Gretchen without much success. And Donnie's parents visit his therapist to see if their son is progressing with his mental health.
His increased detachment from reality seemed to stem from his inability to cope with the forces in the world that he perceives to be threatening.
As Donnie takes his medication in front of the mirror again, it becomes clear that he isn't getting better and nothing is working. Meanwhile, the school has given Jim Cunningham a platform to speak to the students about fear and how they can overcome it.
Are you telling us this stuff so we can buy your book? Because I gotta tell you, if you are, that was some of the worst advice I ever heard.
Donnie is still focused on the idea of portals, wormholes, and time travel, and questions Mr. Monatoff again about the theory in practice. While out at a movie, Donnie sees Frank again, this time without his rabbit mask, and we see his right eye is bloody. Frank shows Donnie a portal directly to Jim Cunningham's house. The fire at Jim's house reveals his dark deeds hidden in his basement. He was arrested on charges of having CSAM. Despite giving a child predator access to the student body, it is the English teacher, Ms. Pomeroy, who is let go for teaching inappropriate material.
Rose, I'm sure that you're aware of the horrible allegations against Jim Cunningham.
Back at therapy, Donnie goes under hypnosis and confesses to his doctor all the property crimes he's committed, because Frank told him to. Donnie and his sister Elizabeth host a Halloween party while their parents are away. The time draws near for Frank's prophecy.
Just time is running out. We gotta go.
Donnie and Gretchen go to Roberta Sparrow's house, and tragedy befalls them when Gretchen is hit by a car driven by a boy named Frank, who wears a rabbit costume for Halloween. Donnie then shoots Frank through the right eye, and his clown friend runs away. As the sun comes up on Middlesex, so too does a whirlwind appear in the sky, a portal through space and time.
And what if you could go back in time and take all those hours of pain and darkness and replace them with something better?
The source of the jet engine that fell on Donnie's house is revealed, coming off the airplane Donnie's mother is on.
I hope that when the world comes to an end, I can breathe a sigh of relief, because there will be so much to look forward to.
Indeed, the entire movie runs itself back, and this time Donnie is in his bed when the jet engine lands on his bedroom, and kills him as it would have.
What was his name?
Donnie Darko.
The movie ends as Donnie's mother waves to Gretchen as Donnie's body is wheeled out to the hearse. Well, I was right about the 88 and time travel. The date came up quite often as they reminded us that we were in 1988 and traveling through time before we went back. Yet the idea was that the world would end on October 30th, 1988, but it didn't. Frank's world ended that day, as did Gretchen's, but the rest of the world would have gone on, until it all turned back and everything we just witnessed became undone. We may be tempted to think that the vigilante justice that Donnie took in his crimes was somehow righteous or honorable. I'll be honest, my mind went there. The elements of water and fire, the flooding at the school and the fire at Jim Cunningham's house, are symbols of judgment of the Most High. And these circumstances did work to expose some wickedness or corruptness, but then it was undone, and none of it happened. Nothing and no one was really exposed. When I consider the meaning of the rabbit, of course I cannot help but think of Alice in Wonderland following the white rabbit. This seems to mean something of deception, a leading astray from reality. The pride and curiosity it takes to follow a strange creature isn't spirit-led.
I have to obey him. He saved my life.
The white rabbit also led Alice to a place of drug-induced mind control, and I believe that's where Donnie was led by the medications he was prescribed by his doctor. It was always shown to us in a mirror, the dual man of Donnie. By day, a high school student, by night, a paranoid schizophrenic, made worse by the very thing that's meant to help him. Now, obviously, Frank the rabbit isn't a white rabbit, but I do believe that's the symbolism of a rabbit within the mystery religion. And yet I suppose it can also do with symbols of prosperity, health, and fertility as the Easter Bunny, which is also a lie, even with a name like Frank. Speaking of names, I found many of the names to have symbolic meaning. Jim Cunningham was called the Antichrist by Donnie at the school assembly.
I think you're the fucking Antichrist.
And his initials, JC, seem to back up that claim. He spoke of fear and love, like the Antichrist will, and yet he harmed children, like the Antichrist will too. The therapist's name is Lillian Thurman, and she has the most influence over Donnie, besides Frank. Her name refers to Lilith, the supposed first wife of Adam, the woman meant to have come from the serpent. And her last name refers to Thor's man. Thor is the Norse representation of the son of the Most High, another false savior. Her actions seem to make her patient worse rather than help him in any way, yet she was the only character who referenced God, but I'm sure she didn't mean the one true God.
Do you mean God's master plan? Do you now believe in God?
And Donnie Darko. His last name is obvious, of the dark, and his first name, Don, means Lord or Master, derived from the Latin Dominus, most often used as Don in Spanish translations, as well as in the Roman Catholic Church. His name quite literally means Lord of the Dark, or Little Lord of the Dark. Finally, I am left to wonder about the character of Roberta Sparrow, or Grandma Death. She never spoke a word, yet she communicated directly to Donnie through her book, The Philosophy of Time Travel. She checked her mailbox relentlessly, and Donnie even wrote her a letter but never sent it. I kept waiting for him to approach her, to try to talk to her about her findings, and because he didn't, her presence seems like a red herring. Though the nickname she received proved true for the prophesied end of the world. So, was it all a dream? Was it just Donnie in Wonderland? Was it truly time travel? And if so, was it for Donnie or Frank? Was there a hero or villain in this story at all, or is it just a series of unfortunate events? So that's enough for today. Thank you for enduring to the end. Give the video a thumbs up if you agree and a thumbs down if you disagree. Remember, these are just my opinions, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments below, as well as any recommendations for movies you'd like me to deconstruct in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content like this, but don't follow me. Follow the one who saves you. And until next time, keep looking up.
And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad.
Papa Smurf didn't create Smurfette, Gargamel did. She was sent in as Gargamel's evil spy with the intention of destroying the Smurf village, but the overwhelming goodness of the Smurf way of life transformed her.